Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, blogger site, and on Patreon for extra support. And any kind of news and updates I usually go about on Twitter X. And again, as usual, when I have the availability to do some live streams, I will let everybody know on Twitter X. So keep your eyes peeled there. As usual, quick updates. Another episode for Midnight Suns will be launched today. Again, every day, every working day, so Monday through Friday, I will launch one episode of Midnight Suns. For the moment being, I've been able to record some episodes here and there. I got a good backlog, so I can launch one episode for from Monday to Friday there. And I've been having a blast with the Midnight Suns. I really do like enjoy pretty much the game itself. The only complaint is the navigation and exploration parts of the IB grounds. It's a little bit clunky, but serviceable mechanic. But I think it could be streamlined a little bit better how you navigate from the grounds there on the exploration part and the such. The rest I'm pretty much enjoying. Um, Regarding the game itself, I don't know what else to tell you. It's again from the same guys that did XCOM 2, so it got that pedigree of quality in terms of the gameplay. It's very addictive, even though it's a more a deck building game. But yeah, if you like XCOM kind of games, there, yeah, so far it's a recommendation for me. And keep your eyes follow up on the light hunter path that I'm going for. But yeah, so far I think that's what I wanted to let everybody know. And again, I got the completed gameplay series and in 4K and 1080p. The 1080p are the older ones. So again, some of them I will be replaying some of these games in 4K because it's been a while since I touched these games. So it's one of those things I would like to revisit one of these days. Let's go for the news. Yesterday, we got the other half of the 9000 series from AMD, and it kind of goes in line with the 9700 and 9600X parts. Again, in terms of, I think there is some issues that needed to be addressed. I think again, this is not the best launch that they did. They just fumbled the launch of this Zen 5 CPUs here. Even the reviewers, I've been watching a little bit more on trying to see about the other side of things, except for gaming. Because in terms of gaming, you don't see basically any kind of uplift in performance to justify upgrading if you already have 7000, or even if you want to upgrade your platform for AM5, let's say from AM4, older AM4 CPU stuff to AM5. Even that this is not justifiable for the 9000 series, mainly because of the price. You can get for example, my recommendation, at least from my end, I can recommend the 7700X. Got a very good performance in terms of gaming. It's almost in line with 70. I think with the 7000 series, it goes between. It's on the top three of in terms of out of the box kind of performance from AMD. In terms of the overall from the 5000 series, 7000 series, and even from the 9000 series, my CPU usually tends to be on the top three, top four kind of a thing in terms of average of gaming performance, even compared with the X3D performance, usually around that place. So it's a pretty decent one. Even the 7600X or even the non-X versions from the 7000 series are pretty good if you find it at a good price. In terms of performance, if you pair it with again with a decent GPU, then you can reach a point where the CPU is not the bottleneck. Maybe it's the GPU. Again, depends on the configuration that you go about, taking in account your own budget there. But yeah, 7000 series for the price, I cannot justify recommendation of stepping into the 9000 series. I watched the usual, so hardware on box, Gamers Nexus, and I was checking also Level Up One, Level One techs here. I watch. He covers more technical stuff like productivity workloads, and goes more in the weeds of, for example, he started comparing with between Linux and Windows ecosystems. I like to expand a little bit more, so I'm more aware what might be happening with, especially with this launch. And yeah, it seems that they fumbled this launch. I don't know in exactly what, because not everybody kind of knows exactly what is happening here. And now we have also rumors that supposedly they're going to do a revision, especially on the 9700X and 9600X revision on the TDP, default TDP there, and supposedly they are going to ramp up a little bit and put it on the 105 watt kind of thing. So it's basically the same that the 7700X. The 7600X, I think it's a 65 watt part, but I think the 9600 can be justified to have a little bit increase on the default TDP, because from the reviews, with at least this lower end, it seems with the 65 watts, they are being stifled, let's say, a little bit in terms of performance. I don't know if there is something regarding like the microcode or something like that, because of the performance stuff there. Doesn't seem to be that much, especially in terms of gaming. I'm talking more about gaming. In productivity, you can see a huge jump in terms of performance if you use PBO and all that stuff there on these newer CPUs. But at least my perception of it is the TDP is what it's strangling the CPU performance to a certain extent, because the temperatures are more than in check usually with this by default out of the box settings. Usually these CPUs tend to perform within well, it seems, with the temperatures around 60ish to 70 degrees in high demand productivity workloads, which is all core usually. So I don't know what they did there. I think they should have taken a bigger delay to try to tweak out from the software part and the tuning part of the CPUs, because from everybody here seems to be in the same page that the problem itself is not the architecture or the hardware itself. I think it's more the software part, which is the BIOS thingies, the microcodes, and all the TTP profiles and all that jazz. Seems to be seems to be a little lack of refinement from AMD's part, and that's why probably they, again, this is a rumor, but I'm not surprised if they go about this. Um, with it seems that they are going for revising this default TDP um, from at least from the lower end CPUs here. But still, again, even all that uplifting performance, still, it's not a recommendation from anybody, unless in very specific cases, for example, high productivity workload like all core workloads that you really need to squeeze out every little juice that you have from your system. There might be a justification for that, but still, in terms of the overall consumer, there is no recommendation for these CPUs for now. So might as well stick with the 7000 series if you want to upgrade from older platforms or older CPUs. I think it's more than good enough. At least that's my take from all of this. I will try to follow up to see. I don't know. Maybe when this new AGESA BIOS update will come out. I recently, when I did my annual deep cleaning on my PC, I did my annual BIOS update, because from what I use, I don't need all the juice out of the CPU here. Usually, my main concern might be regarding DDR5 timings and such, but as far as I know, I never had any issues since I have my PC. I got my PC on DDR 6000 with one of the most tightest possible timings that I can get, 30 something. I think it's 30, 36, 36, 72 or something like that. The most tight that I can get out of it. And so far, I don't have any kind of issues regarding memory, which is something that it seems to be afflicting a little bit the 9000 series. I don't know why. I think that there's been some issues depending on the memory modules. I think that they need also to patch that out and fine tune all of the memory tuning and compatibility there. Um, but yeah, it's a little bit fumbled again. From what I've been seeing here, it's not an Intel situation by any means, which Intel just does the other way around, which is just ramp up power to 11, and now CPUs are degrading even the non unlockable ones, so the non-K version, so the locked version of the CPUs, even their default I don't know which profiles that they have by default. They are burning the CPUs in terms of degradation, because again, too much juice on that hardware is not it's not handling well that hardware. At least that's my main gist of the thing, very summed up there. So yeah, uh, main thing here, not worth it for now. We might get some updates regarding like microcode updates and BIOS updates to fine tune a little bit more the performance out of these 9000 CPUs. But if you really want to buy new CPUs, I think 7000 series you're more well than served. You got the 7800X 3D for pure gaming performance. Then you got the 7950s for productivity work. They are still way cheaper, like around 10 $100 cheaper than the new ones that launched, the 9950X. It's almost $600 or something. There is no table. No, there is no table here. But yeah, you got the 7000 series are cheaper, perform basically basically the same. Yeah, that's my recommendation here, is stick with the 7000 series. You really need to upgrade to M5 platform, and or want to just build a new system and you're thinking about doing something with AMD, just stick with the 7000 series. Basically at this moment in time, you just put it on the motherboard. You don't need to do any kind of BIOS updates and the such. It's on the go so far as I can see. And even a pretty decent motherboard, like a B650 chip with a B650 chip. If it is a decent one, it can handle the upcoming 9000 and I don't know 10,000 series, so the Zen 6. But yeah, basically that's it regarding hardware. In terms of gaming, you don't have a. There is some news here, but the ones that interested me at the moment, for the moment, is just going to give a little bit of shout out to Rurikhan. He does a lot of it's kind of an expert of Monster Hunter, and Monster Hunter whilst being bringing out a lot of those breakdowns from the weapons lately. I got a lot of there is a lot of different weapons here. The latest one that he comment on is sword and shield, light bow gun, and hammer, and I think there is a couple of ones that have been launched since then, and I do really recommend him. He is very knowledgeable, especially on Monster Hunter franchise. He does a very good breakdown and tells you kind of the difference that he is noticing between Monster Hunter Worlds and the previous games, and with this one, that there is some keen observations from his part, and I really do recommend you check him out. In other news, we got this one caught my attention: a classic animation horror game by Carole, delayed to 2025. I watched the Steam page, kind of pre-alpha gameplay of this game. Seems pretty interesting. Seems antro animation here in a horror game. Very interesting. Seems pretty good from what I've been seeing from the Steam page there. And they delayed the game because they want to enhance or improve in certain aspects like lighting effects, user interface, cutscene reworks, and gameplay reworks there. But yeah, I already wishlisted so I can keep myself on par with this game. Seems interesting. I always like a good horror game. It's kind of a side scrolling kind of a way of playing about the game there, so a different take on the first person third person horror genre there. And yeah, I'll leave a link of the Steam page for this game if you want to check it out and maybe wishlist it for yourself. We got also an upcoming game, Sumerian 6, launches September 2. This comes from Devolver Digital. Usually they publish good games, mainly indie games, and the trailer seems pretty interesting. It's around 6 minutes or so. This is kind of a Commandos like style game here, very focused on stealth. Um, Basically, it follows a six-persons team, scientists, commandos. They are basically transported for an alternative reality or something like that. I still not sure what it is, and they basically have to defeat Nazis and demo Nazis and all that jazz. Seems pretty interesting how they're going about it. The way they decide to go for the um, design of the characters, the art style itself is very interesting, and you got some surprises here on the trailer. So I will leave it for you to check out, and I will also leave a Steam page of this game below the link of the link of the article itself. Seems pretty interesting. I already also wishlisted just to keep my eyes here, even though I'm not very fond of real-time tactical kind of games. I prefer turn-based. But yeah, seems interesting regardless. Then we got Witchfire. Ooh, I already saw a couple of trailers. I'm not sure if I ever talk about this game. But supposedly it was already in early access on the Epic Games Store, which is interesting. And now it will come fourth quarter of this year to Steam as an early access again. Again, what it caught my eye here is the project by the astronauts. It have people that work on Painkiller and Bulletstorm. Painkiller was a very well-known game, kind of first-person shooter, kind of Demon Hunter kind of thing there that I think you fired stakes and bones, and it was a very like kind of Doomish look-alike, but it has its own kind of twist there. And Bulletstorm is also first-person shooter, very different take on this kind of games. But yeah, it seems pretty interesting what they're trying to do here. It's I think it has some elements of roguelike runs there. Very interesting what they're trying to do here. And again, I will leave the link on the page for you to check out the trailer. Seems pretty interesting. At least it will be something that I will put on my wish list just to keep my track on this game. Maybe it's something that I might try one of these days. But yeah, I will also leave the Steam page of this game so you can check it out and maybe wishlist it for yourself. And then lastly, we got more Assassin's Creed Shadow shenanigans, especially from this professor, let's say Thomas Lockley. Again, they start the article with some kind of summed up what of the situation here regarding specifically with Thomas Lockley, regarding his collaboration on the podcast here, Echoes of History. This is basically the description of the podcast episode. So what it's here. Um, Basically, it's a kind of a thing that we all know. This is a produced Ubisoft podcast, so uh, uh, you can get it out of what you want. Um, and this part goes on the side what they talked about in the podcast episode by itself, which basically is a Black Samurai was a hero and all that shit show that they're trying to change history to be of. But then now we got a little bit of something kind of information regarding the Gunma prefecture. Was reported by Minimal Effort podcast uh, that this prefecture noted that Lockley misinterpreted the word kuruho. Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. During a television special titled Black Samurai Yasuke, the African samurai who served Nobunaga. Yeah, and this is on the website. There is a question that was asked. I heard that an ancient document in the Gunman prefectural archives contains a description of a kuruho, which roughly translated can be interpreted as black man. Is this true? And then again, this is translated by I assume deep learning, deep L. The government entity responded. So it might have some weird words here and there, but in the Kurima family document, got identification here, letter to Kyoma, sorry, I'm going to butcher everything here, Kyomasa Kato, year unknown, so we don't have a year or a date for reference here. And this letter is addressed to Mataziyamo Shimokawa and others. The word Kuruo appears in the description related to Hideyoshi Toyotomi's invasion of Korea. In Black Samurai, Yasuke, the African who served samurai who served Nobunaga, broadcast on this channel on May 30th of 2021. Thomas Lockley, associate professor of Nihon University, stated that Kuroho mentioned in this document may be the successor of Yasuke, a black samurai who served Nobunaga. The document is a Kuruo document again. Continuing, first of all, we have the archive. We at the archives have not recognized this Kuruo as a black person at all, and we are surprised by Mr. Lockley's suggestion. In fact, whether or not this Kuruo was Yasuke, uh, there had been a view that he was presumed to be black. Got essentially so Nakajima Rakuaki 16th century Lake Kyushu, Southern Asian trade. At this point, however, it is difficult to make a definite determination since the blacks appear again. This is the translation here appear in only one place in this document. For example, the word Kuruo also appears in the Tale of the Genji. Genji, usually foreigner, if not mistaken, translated, which means Kuruo needed incense, and it seems to occur frequently in Japanese classics. So it seems that usually, again, because Japanese characters or symbols, again, I don't know the proper definition of the written language. It depends on how you match them between other characters there. They can have different interpretation. And with all language, if you go, for example, in the English language, if you go far enough, uh, years enough, far back, words have, in terms of descriptive stuff, usually might signify anything else than what you're now interpreting as of today. The same thing with my language, Portuguese. There is a lot of variation what the word might have been descriptive, especially descriptive stuff there. Yeah, it can mean different things, even at this time period, on the current time period, and especially can be significantly way different from years back. But yeah, that, and even in today's day and age, we see a lot on gaming, especially, for example, Elden Ring lore translations. There are some words that could be used better instead of what they are translating at this moment because of how they can be interpreted. And the interpretation and translation have to be taken into account also, depending on the point of view who writes these things. So that's why they usually put it in the way that. How they say it, they don't usually have a definite answer unless there is corroborating things that might hit in that sense. But yeah, continuing here. In addition, some of our staff members have suggested that it will be more natural to see as a description of an object rather than a person when reading our documents. Based on the above, it is the opinion of the archive staff of the museum that it is difficult to immediately conclude that Kuruho is a black person at this point in time. Again, it's basically mentions what I was trying to say here. This word doesn't mean by definitely, and this word can be used, usually is used to use as a descriptive of an object rather than a person, but it can be used, depend, again, we got lingo language, you got jargon language that we can use, that something that is descriptive of an object to describe a person, vice versa. Anthropomorphized language also sometimes it can be used, but again, usually again, usually these documents are kind of official documents that are recognized as kind of official documents. So usually you tend to be more conservative or in the interpretation of words used there, less than trying to make it, trying to be more liberal in the way that you try to interpret stuff. The same thing that you have government letters or official letters from a government or something like that. You usually don't try to interpret it in a different way that it's supposedly should be interpreted on the way that usually official documents are written, kind of those things. But yeah, it seems that he was very selective in what he was trying to go about to push his narrative regarding the Yasuke as the superhero black samurai that fought alongside Nobunaga. Again, there's nothing to support that. Again, even they are putting the work on people that have these museums and that have these own letters and communications between the time period that supposedly this guy was a black samurai. That everything is basically saying that this never happened. There is no shred of evidence that he was really a samurai. It doesn't match especially in terms of the cultural significance of what the samurai is at, especially at that time and point. Again, I think a lot of Western people have been not fooled, but induced in the sense that anybody could be a samurai if they were I don't know, good enough as a fighter. I don't know. It's something. Again, I think it the most thing that we can relate to as a samurai in Japan, especially at that time period, is how you became a lord. Usually, it's something that was inherited. It's not something that you achieved by working hard and be a very ethical person. You achieve lordhood again, or being knighted. It's not something. It was something that was given from a higher power. Let's say in the samurai was the lord might be having giving you the honors of being a samurai, and usually was something that was passed on through families like royal families, let's say, or noble families. It's not something that anybody comes drops down in Japan in a time period that it was locked out of the world, and somebody just dropped in and was uh, different, and because he was different, he was attributed the title of samurai. That doesn't make any sense, no logical sense whatsoever. Um, but yeah, and interestingly enough, I think I covered this one. There is also a Lance E. Lee interview podcast from Tokyo. I think I mentioned this, and I talked about what they talked about in the video itself, and the video itself was removed by the uploader. So I think he basically didn't want any hate on him. I think he might have been fooled from this Lockley guy, professor. Yeah, and after he reviewed the information and saw, okay, this is not good for me, might as well remove this video. But yeah, everything that is posted on the internet, it stays forever. Somebody will have for sure a video of this archived somewhere. But yeah, in terms of the official YouTube channel, this Lance Ely, again, I think he was fooled into thinking that there was something regarding because again, when somebody appears with you with some written books, with good reviews on Amazon or whatever, and is a professor of a renowned university in Japan and comes with a smooth talk, silver tongue. I think people are interested in what that professor has to say. I think that's basically a lot of people might was fooled by this guy here, trying to sell some of his own fantasy written books there. But yeah, regarding gaming news is what I got for you today. Got some free games still. We got this one. It seems interesting. Signy, all guns blazing, kind of arcade shooter kind of thing, like a top-down arcade shooter. Uh, I watched some reviews around between 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, around that. And again, this is a free game, so you don't lose anything. The next round of free games, I think this one might be an interesting one. I know I saw this title somewhere on Steam. I will try to check out if it is have like decent feedback from the community to see if it's worth recommending this game even for free. But yeah, at this moment in time, got Signy All Guns Blazing. On Steam, we got Jusant, 35% off on the base game. We got Cult of Lamp, 50% off on the base game. Then we got some the one weights bundle thingy, which is I will assume deluxe edition. We got Cyberpunk still on sale. Ultimate Edition supposedly is the way to go because of Phantom Liberty. Adds a lot of good stuff on the game, narrative wise also. Um, we got Ghostwire Tokyo 75% off on the base game and 67% off on the deluxe version. I'm not sure what the deluxe version offers, but it's there. We got also the Witcher Wild Hunt. Again, the way to go for sure is the complete edition. Again, it's got a step of approval from my part. Already did at the time 2015. I did at least 3 or 4 runs on this game. One vanilla, uh, the second one when the after all the DLCs came out, and the third one with some mods at the time. Again, the mods are completely different from the time that I played this one. But yeah, this is an excellent game still at this point in time. And yeah, I really do recommend this game. Then you got also Doom, 80% off, and Doom Eternal. Again, usually the deluxe version, I think it's the way to go with all the DLC or the playable DLC. 75% off. And yeah, on GOG, we got Alien Isolation, the collection, 80% off. Again, this is the collection, so everything associated with the playable DLC of this game. If you want the standard version, it's again $2 for the. I think the DLC is pretty good on this one. It's got new game modes and the search there and other stuff. Seems pretty good. We got also Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, 85% off, and then the sequel Deus Ex Mankind Divided Digital Deluxe Edition, 85% off also. And then we got the duology The Evil Within, 75%, and 80% on the Evil Within 2. Again, we had the recent news that Tango Gameworks was kind of bought by Krafton, which is the PUBG publisher, if not mistaken. Again, some finicky news there. We need to confirm if it is completely bought and how the IPs worked, if they are going to be transferable for Krafton or not. We'll see how that will work out. And also the Fi Rush game. We will have to wait and see how that all those details are going to be defined there on the contract of acquisition. But yeah, this is what I got for you today, guys. I will just wrap up with a plug on my Patreon as usual. For the access support here, the access support is at this moment in time for me to try and focus on getting a better storage solution for me to be able to get backups of stuff that I do for my clients, and also some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.